The city was alive that evening. Streetlights flickered to life one by one, bathing the sidewalks in a pale orange glow. Office workers hurried toward the train station, clutching briefcases and sipping the last drops of lukewarm coffee. Teenagers gathered in groups, laughing too loudly. Street vendors shouted about roasted corn and hot tea. It was busy, loud, impersonal. And yet, in the middle of that endless river of people, sat one man who might as well have been invisible. He leaned against a cold stone wall, his knees pulled up to his chest. His hair was matted, streaked with gray. His coat was torn at the sleeves. His shoes had long lost their soles. A cardboard sign rested beside him, bent at the corners. The words, faded but still legible, read, "Hungry." Anything helps. Dozens of people passed by every minute. Some barely glanced. Others turned their heads away deliberately. A few dropped coins, not out of kindness, but out of habit, the way one tosses crumbs to pigeons without really looking. The man didn't speak. He didn't beg. He just sat there quietly, as though waiting for something the world had long forgotten to give. Among the sea of strangers walked a young mother, her hand firmly clasped around her 6-year-old son's. She looked tired but determined, moving quickly through the crowd with shopping bags swaying at her side. "Keep up, sweetheart," she urged gently. But the little boy wasn't interested in keeping up. His eyes darted around, curious about everything. The vendor with balloons, the man playing violin at the corner, and then the quiet figure sitting on the ground. He slowed down. "Mom?" he asked, tugging her hand. "Why is that man sitting there?" The mother stiffened. She had seen him too, but like everyone else, she wanted to keep walking. "Don't stare," she whispered. "Come along." But the boy craned his neck, staring openly now. "Is he waiting for someone?" "No," she said quickly. "He's just resting." The boy frowned. "But why does he look so sad?" The mother tightened her grip and quickened her pace. "Some people make choices, and this is where they end up. Now don't ask questions." Her voice was firmer than she meant it to be. But deep inside, something about the man's stillness unsettled her. They walked several more steps, but the boy stopped again. He dug his heels into the ground, refusing to move. "Come on!" she hissed, glancing nervously as annoyed pedestrians moved around them. But her son didn't budge. His wide eyes remained fixed on the man sitting against the wall. "Mom," he whispered. "He looks hungry." The mother's lips tightened. "Sweetheart, we can't help everyone. There are so many like him. If we stopped for each one, we'd never get anywhere." "But no one's even talking to him," the boy said, his voice cracking slightly. The mother bent down, lowering herself to his eye level. "Listen to me. Sometimes the best thing we can do is keep walking. Okay?" But the boy shook his head. "No, I don't think that's right." Before she could stop him, the boy slipped free from her hand. His tiny shoes slapped against the pavement as he walked toward the man. "Wait!" the mother called, panic rising in her chest. She rushed after him, her shopping bag swinging wildly. The boy stopped just a foot away from the homeless man. He hesitated, then leaned forward. The crowd around them seemed to vanish. The boy whispered one single word. "Papa!" The mother froze. Her breath caught in her throat. The man's head lifted slowly, as if the word itself had given him strength. His eyes, sunken, tired but piercing, met hers. And in that instant, the world around her blurred. Her knees weakened, Her hands trembled. She knew that face. It was him. Memories she had buried for years came rushing back. She was only 20 when it happened. She lived alone in a cramped apartment, the kind with peeling wallpaper and thin walls. One night, smoke filled the hallway. A fire had broken out on the 3rd floor, spreading fast. She had tried the door. The handle burned her palm. The windows were sealed shut, the stairwell a tunnel of black smoke. She coughed, struggling to breathe. And then, through the haze, a figure appeared. A man. Strangers screamed behind him, but he pushed forward, kicking open her door. His face was streaked with soot, his voice hoarse. "Come with me," he shouted, grabbing her arm. She stumbled after him, blinded by smoke, her chest tightening. He shielded her with his own body as they made their way down the burning stairwell. When they reached the street, she collapsed, gasping for air. By the time she looked up, he was gone. No name, no thanks. Just a fleeting memory of the man who saved her life. Her voice trembled. "It's you. It's really you." The man's cracked lips curved into a faint smile. "Took you long enough to remember." The boy looked up at his mother in confusion. "Mom? You know him?" Tears blurred her vision. She dropped to her knees, clutching her son tightly. "This man, he saved me once. He saved me before you were even born. Without him, you and I wouldn't be here." The boy's mouth fell open. Slowly, he extended his tiny hand toward the man. The man stared at it for a long moment before gently taking it in his own. His grip was weak, but his eyes softened with gratitude. "You've got her courage," he whispered to the boy. The mother's heart ached. She felt ashamed that she had walked past men like him for years, never imagining that one of them might be the very soul who had once saved her. She wiped her tears. "Come with us," she said firmly. The man shook his head. I don't want to be a burden." "You carried me out of a fire," she said fiercely. "You gave me back my life." "You are not a burden." She stood and extended her hand. For the first time in years, the man slowly pushed himself up from the cold pavement. They walked together to a small cafe at the corner, heads turned as they entered, a weary homeless man beside a well-dressed woman and her child. But she didn't care. She ordered a hot meal for him. As he ate, her son bombarded him with questions. "Where do you live? Do you have a family? Why didn't Mom tell me about you?" The man chuckled softly, his voice raspy. "Because life has a way of hiding stories until the right moment." The boy grinned. "Well, I think today's the right moment." When they left the cafe, the night air was cold, but the man didn't shiver. For the first time in years, he wasn't invisible. The mother looked at him, her eyes shining with tears. "You saved me once. Now, let me save you." He lowered his head, overcome with emotion. The boy reached for both of their hands, linking them together. And as they walked down the street, people still rushed by, still looked away, still lived in their own hurried worlds. But for one family, broken and rebuilt by fate, everything had changed. Because sometimes it only takes one word to remind us of who we really are.